Let's queer up gay culture. LGBTQ plus drinking. A study shows significant drop in the last 20 years as zero proof movement gains ground. As we step into the end of January in our new year, some Americans are considering changes to their drinking habits. We're finishing the symbolic dry January. A Gallup survey reveals that 62% of United States adults drink alcohol, while 38% choose not to. That marks a significant change from the late 1970s, when 71% of adults reported consuming alcohol. Adults aged 35 to 54, those with a college degree, higher income individuals, and those attending church less frequently are more likely to drink. In 2021, the average person aged 21 or older consumed around 603 standard drinks a year. This type of alcohol consumed by the LGBTQ plus community has also shifted, with less beer and more wine being consumed since 1970. Surprisingly, young adults today are less likely to drink compared to 2 decades ago, while older adults are more likely to do so. According to the University of Michigan's Monitoring the Future survey, underage drinking among U.S. teens has declined over the last 20 years. As Generation Z comes of age, they're changing how we think about drinking. Generation Z purchasing 10% less alcohol than millennials and 25% less than baby boomers. The similar attitude toward alcohol drinking has propelled the zero proof movement, which means that you don't need alcohol to have a great time. This has motivated the opening of non-alcoholic bars or sober bars across the country. Does it also mean the LGBTQ plus future generation will consume less alcohol than we do today? Well, I found this to be a really interesting story because, first of all, I don't see a drop in alcohol consumption. I see people young and middle-aged and whatever generation, I see people drinking. The other thing is about drinking and the LGBTQ community, it plays a big role in that alcohol was something which actually fueled the Red Scare in the 1950s. And what that was about was after World War II, and when the State Department said homosexuals couldn't serve in the military, it was because they believed that all homosexuals were alcoholics and they were deviants as a result of being alcoholics. And because if you were an alcoholic, you could then, and you got drunk, you would then tell secrets to communists.
Wow.
And so they had what they, I know. And
wow.
So this is the craziness. This is the craziness that actually the government actually put on. But so they got to the point of saying all gay people are alcoholics, and they're all going to spill the tea, as it were.
I mean, to be fair, that's been my experience.
Well, a communist that you are.
Yeah, oh no, I thought I was a columnist. Columnist, damn it! Well, that makes so much more sense now. First off, non-alcoholic or sober bars, those are called coffee houses, and they've been around for a minute. Okay. That said, I don't think we're saying this is a huge drop, 71% to 62. For over 45 to 50 years, I don't think that's a big drop. I mean, that's 9% over 45 years. So I don't really think it's a sea change. It's noticeable, certainly. And I think the proliferation of legal marijuana for recreational or medical use has certainly helped lean into that decline, but now 9%. I mean, smoking has dropped from 60% in the 60s to less, like 12% of people smoke regularly today. So I mean, this trend doesn't really even register as a blip for me.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Please go, Bonnie.
I'm gonna say I ain't noticed shit because when I go to the bar, there's a line of like 6 or 7 Rugrats in front of me trying to take all the fucking Captain and Coats so I can't get it. So I don't know about this trend. I think that kids are doing, and this is based off me, this is my opinion, this is not Hotspot's opinion. I think kids are doing drugs nowadays, and I think that's what it is. I think they're finding it easier to get a hold of. They can do it from home, and they can like get high and hop on TikTok. And I think that's the main issue is alcohol is still a prevalent part of this queer community. It helps me get booked because it makes me look so much more beautiful. So like, I don't need this decline to happen. I refuse to believe it's a real thing.
It's hard to believe that decline is, especially because we live in a party town. We live in South Florida where people come down here for spring break. People come here to get effed up. That is their goal when they come here on vacation. So I can understand how it's hard for us to see that, you know. There is, you know, is it okay for me to share?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so me and Dr. Ed are both in recovery. You know, we both have a couple of years of sobriety. And so, you know, we're out there and we know that, yes, it's a huge problem in our community. And we know that there's a lot of people, our brothers and sisters, you know, and non-binary folks that, you know, are struggling through addiction, you know, alcohol and drugs, you know. So I can't say that I agree with this drop either. I agree that more people are probably doing drugs. And according to, you know, in my clubhouse, in my AA clubhouse, we have AA meetings, we have NA meetings. My NA meetings are way more full than my AA meetings. Let's just say that they span out into the parking lot.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm with you, Faye. And at Pride Lines, we have we're bringing back our AA meetings because it didn't have the population, and we're bringing it back. But our CMA meetings and our NA meetings are like oversubscribed, and so. But we're going to go back to AA. I'm going to go a little sad note here. Actually, on my way here, and this I'm a little down today. My ex, which Faye and I talked about when I was in her bed, who struggles with addiction as well, went back to New York because it just didn't work out. But his best friend just today OD'd and died. It's tough.
Oh, sorry.
It's tough, but I don't. It's. Thank you. I appreciate that. Addiction's rough. It's tough.
Well, and it comes with the territory of getting sober. You know what I mean? Most of the people that I came in with are dead or in prison or they're back out.
This is what happens. But I don't see, to the point of the story, I don't see a reduction.
No.
I see more and more of it. I used to work in higher ed. I used to be a college professor, an administrator, and quite frankly, it's all over those campuses, man. I think back to my days. I was a frat guy, in the closet frat guy, you know, pounding beers and like
pounding beers.
Pounding beers.
And broads.
See Dr. Ed just like pounding beers and like squishing it on his forehead.
Oh, I can totally see it. I have a question, and this is someone. I have my medical marijuana card. I also have a VIP account at Crown Liquors. So
and a full bar.
And a full bar. But I'm curious, just I would love to know, is the people who are clean and sober seems to be almost like a subset of a subset. Weed notwithstanding, which is a bigger problem today in South Florida? Our rampant alcoholism or the more underground meth, drug use, coke, everything.
Again, only my opinion would be the meth and coke.
The narcotic.
Unfortunately, you know, alcohol is everywhere, and it's just part of everybody. It's a regular routine, right? And for drugs, unfortunately, a lot of our stuff down here in South Florida has fentanyl in it. So people are just overdosing at alarming rates, and people don't think that just, you know, a Xanny bar and some vodka will just put them to sleep. It will also tell your brain to make you stop breathing. So, you know, and that happens so often in our community.
That's a major point. When you purchase alcohol from a bar, it's monitored. It's organized. You trust the source in which you're getting the alcohol from. When you're getting narcotics, you don't always know the source. You just get what you get, and hopefully it doesn't mess you up. So I think that is a major issue in Florida, the country, and the world. Like just a non-proper monitoring of narcotics to make sure that, like, if people are doing it, and they are, trust me, that it doesn't kill them off, that they can try it safely in a monitored setting and like have a good time or learn its effects and decide not to do it. But like alcohol is monitored, narcotics isn't properly monitored. That's a huge issue.
And to Faye's point earlier, you know, it's South Florida, right? So it's the party spot. So a lot of people come in for the party, have a good time, but also this is the recovery capital.
It is.
It is the recovery capital. And so we have so many people who come down here to get clean and sober. Some of us stay sober, some of us don't, and we continue to live in the community. But I agree with Faye, like narcotics, and you know, Bonnie, narcotics is the number one. Alcohol is, you know, it's an issue, but narcotics, it's the silent killer. Actually, not so silent killer. It is the killer because of fentanyl in it. And people, I often saw this when I worked in the treatment industry. People say, I never did fentanyl. And then you test them and they're like, oh no, you test positive for fentanyl. No, I just did coke. No, there's fentanyl in that damn coke. It's crazy. I had a friend. I'm sorry to tell stories today, but I had a friend who was in recovery, got out of recovery, he was doing well. The therapist as well, like, buddy, we're peers, you know. Literally, because of a grinder hookup, he did meth, and literally was out for a whole week. I like had to fight to get him back. I literally was like, dude, what are you doing? I'll come to you. Got to him up in Boca. He stayed at my house for a week. Luckily, thank God, I didn't really want to trust it, but I trusted him because he's a friend and a colleague. He stayed clean for a whole week, thank God. But like for that whole week, him coming down off meth, he was an airhead. I was like, who the fuck are you?
Wow.
Who are, like, he literally couldn't even have a conversation. Like
An intelligent man.
An intelligent. This is a guy with a master's degrees, an MSW, and a clinical counseling degrees, who provided therapy to young people.
He can't put words together
and
now.
literally couldn't even. He still can't. I just texted him yesterday. I was like, hey, how are you doing? He's like, I don't know. Like, who is this? I was like, it's me. Like, it's sad. It's definitely a killer out here in our community. And I don't see it going down. You know, I still consult on weekends sometimes, which less and less now because Pride Lines has just gotten so busy. But I still see a lot of people in the treatment industry when I go consult up in West Palm or anywhere else. The numbers are still high.
Yeah, and they're going to be.
They're going to continue to be.
You know, bad grinder hookup or just being marginalized makes you want to go do some drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't identify yourself in your license.
Makes you want to go
You get
drink.
arrested. You get arrested.
Makes you want to go drink.
Right.